Yeah, it was pretty tight. It was pretty tight. It starts off with him and Liu Kang, and off the rip, I just want to say, like, I don't know what it is, but does he look like he's like rendered a little differently?
Yeah, he looks more cartoony.
True, and he doesn't sound like J.K. Simmons.
Yeah, I think it's gonna take a little bit to really like listen in. Like he is, but he's like, it seems like he's like he needs coffee. Like he's not awake.
I feel like it's kind of like one of those things, like even when you hear Megan Fox as Natara, you can hear Megan Fox, but you can't really like, you're like, was that really Megan Fox? Because yeah, but I don't really care too much because they still have to play a character, right? But like maybe he's just changed a little bit, maybe over the course of doing other characters or events. It's just been overtime, you know.
Yeah, you can hear her, but you also cannot, how do I say, hear her exposition or whatever her what is it, personality in the voice.
Yeah, no, not at all.
You know what? Maybe it's because maybe he's prepping for Invincible 2, like season 2 when that comes out. So it might be a little bit further into the future, or he might be, you know, kind of prepping that other voice for Omni-Man. We know because he's gonna be older, right? Technically. And this looks like a little bit older Omni-Man. This doesn't look as like young as he does in the show. He does look a little bit more like older, grittier. Like you can see the wrinkles. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
Yeah, it might be just because like the way he's rendered in this compared to obviously in the 2D, right? Like
in that 5 o'clock shadow. It's crazy.
Yeah.
My man's been drinking.
But off the rip though, he wasn't the only thing, right? That got shown off as well. We got a quick look though. We got a new cameo to actually look at, and it's actually Tremor. And Tremor in an interesting look to him, not like the tank that was MKX. He's a little bit more traditional ninja, right? Kind of like more the MK Special Forces style Tremor. For those that know what that game is, he looks more like that. But I dig it. I like it. We get a little look at it. We kind of have a little bit of a pop-up animation from him. I think we got to see either the same one or maybe a variation later down the line. But let's talk the little references in here. Have you guys watched Invincible?
Yeah.
Yes.
Or read it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Watched,
awesome.
yes.
All right. So yeah, a lot of references, right? You know, the best thing you look for is the little Easter eggs and references in here. Clearly, we get the beatdown, which I'm assuming this is going to be his X-ray, where he just was destroying Mark, aka his son, and you know the infamous meme, like think, you know, right? That whole scene. That's gonna be his X-ray. He has a couple of quicks here and there, but we don't have to be the ones to actually just completely break it down for you. There is another video that has some comparisons here. It actually made it on Twitter. This is from Skybound Games. Posted up about it, which is really, really dope of them. Just a side by side on the comparisons as to what they've taken from the game to what's actually in there. It's very there we go. This is a very weird iteration, but yeah, it's kind of there.
Why Skybound?
I don't know. Maybe they're fans.
Yeah, I guess
they might be fans.
I would have liked a little bit more of the like red-eyed version of Omni-Man, like where he looks a lot more grittier. Like he just seems a little too polished still. But maybe maybe over the course of battle damage, because battle damage does happen, maybe we'll see him like get those like red eyes and stuff.
Exactly. So obviously we got the dope references. The one of his fatalities as well. You know, the infamous eye pop off, you know, head explosion. But even more infamous than that would be the train.
I would have liked to see them kind of putting their hands out during the train, just like how Mark does. They do kind of in the beginning, but then they just kind of don't do the rest. And I would have liked the like punching as he's getting grabbed for the X-ray.
Oh
like,
yeah, like actually
that would have made it cool. Yeah, that would have made it funnier. But I mean, I think they did a great translation for him.
Yeah, he looks dope. He looks pretty much menacing. I was actually curious. Funny enough, when I was watching the trailer, I was actually talking to Arma about it. I was like, he kind of feels the way what we're seeing from his kit right now, right? Because he's got like this super speed. Seems like could be a command grab because he has the whole spine grab thing, right? He has a dodge as well. That's specific to him, it seems, where he actually dodges a Scorpion Spear and then ends up doing the whole spine thing behind him. I'm wondering if he's going to be more of a, you know, maybe anti-zoning type, because right, his gameplay is what brings more question from his gameplay is like, how is Homelander gonna play? compared to him, right? Whereas two similar characters, right? Two Superman, evil Supermen. Homelander does have like eye beams and stuff, so is Homelander going to be more zoning, maybe orientated, while they're trying to make Omni-Man a bit more of the close-up anti-zoning type, maybe to kind of fill that gap? Like that's the way I kind of like. I'm theorizing that they can balance having two practically similar archetypes in the game with similar powers and all. I don't know about if you guys were thinking anything like that, but other than that, yeah, he looks dope.
Yeah, I didn't expect anything less. However, like, everything there was great except for me. I felt like the punches were very stiff. Kind of felt like Farah. I initially, when I was telling people on Saturday when I saw it, I was like, he feels like Tor from Farah Tor. Just because he's a bit more stiff, his movements. And then I get home, watch Max's reaction, and he says the same thing, and I'm like, okay, I said it first. Like,
heard it here first.
I said it first. But like, yeah, it just felt a little too stiff. But then, of course, you have the dodge, you have the movements. Also, there's Tremor looks kind of like Scorpion with the up juggle.
Yeah, the up juggle cameo he had there. I mean, kind of playing on the idea, right? Trevor's like a ninja of the earth, the ground, and such. And if you remember his MKX version, there was like the jade version, there was the lava version, there was the golden steel like variation, like the different elements and minerals in the earth. Like, so I guess they're still playing off of that for him, which gives him a variety. I'm assuming give him a variety of moves and different kind of looks, which could be callbacks, but they make sense. They make sense.
I just don't like how stiff he sort of looked with his punch.
Well, here's the thing. I feel like he has to be, because this is okay. I'm gonna do a lot of referencing to Injustice because I think you can kind of see a lot of the moveset. You see the 4-2-3 there. You see he has the, I think it's like 1-1 or 2-1-2 or 2-1, something like that, where he does the Superman's like one hit with his left hand and then does it again to knock him up in the air. Like, these are clearly moves from Injustice, and it feels like watching it, and I've been saying this since day one, it feels like Injustice, like a mixture of Injustice 1 and 2. And I feel like Omni-Man feels like an Injustice 1 Superman with the speed that he's at, right? He's not really fast, but he's not really slow. I think that's what we're kind of seeing here. And I mean, with the movement options that he's going to have, I think he needs to be kind of slow, because he had that one teleport that looked like he didn't even need to have a projectile affect him. And I wasn't sure what side he was on. I don't know if he's going to be able to choose left or right, and you got to just guess. But ultimately, I feel like this character is stiff as hell. Yes. But like I said, it reminds me of Injustice 1. So
yeah. I didn't think about that. Maybe they were trying to make it like almost like a little love letter to Injustice.
Yeah.
So one of the first things. Ooh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I feel like Homelander. Omni-Man, even though he has some of the qualities of Superman and what Homelander's going to have, I think, yes, I do agree. I think they're going to make him more of an anti-zoner with an aggressive, like a highly aggressions type of play style. Not like mix up, but just very maybe plus buttons, which you don't see very often. And I think it makes sense for how slow he is, but I also think it comes off as I like the way they're designing him, right? I don't see him use the beams. He's kind of more of this, like, I'm in your face, let me teach you a lesson. But I feel like Homelander is going to be more like that grimy, like, really use every little bullshit tool that's in his kit to just annoy people, right? Because that's what he does. He doesn't care. He can do whatever he wants.
I mean, not to say Omni-Man can't do the same, but I get what you mean. They're kind of playing into the character a little bit there. Yeah. That'd be kind of cool. One last thing. I don't know if you noticed. I know we did talk about the subway earlier, but did you notice the kind of the Easter egg within the Easter egg when it came to the subway?
Yep.
Oh my goodness! What a way to put it together, right? Like, for those that don't realize, the reference we're talking about is the actual subway in which Omni-Man brings you for his subway fatality. To recreate that moment is actually, especially if you take a pause at the right, I think it's at the right frame, or during the actual animation, like when it starts up, you actually get to see the Ed Boon street name. I think it's like on the, there we go, Ed Boon, the Boon Tobias station on the left, which is a call out to the MK3 stage where we first saw it, where you got the subway fatality and stuff, and you can actually knock people up into the street. That's literally what this is. We saw it in MK9. We've seen it in MK11 as well, and certain flashbacks. I don't know if that ended up being a stage at all. I think it did, but I remember seeing it in some of the cutscenes and all. So that was dope. So it's just rich in the Easter eggs, which was really dope to see. Omni-Man showing to be quite the menace. But he's also bringing along not just the Tremor cameo, but the release date or release month. So he's actually going to be coming out in November of this year. But that isn't the only information we also ended up getting, even though it's not. I don't think it came from this particular. Let me see. I don't think it came from this particular event. I don't think it came from New York Comic Con. I think it was like later. Matter of fact, I think it was yesterday that this actually ended up dropping. Yeah, the DLC release schedule has also been revealed. Let me see. Let me make sure this is good. So we have Quan Chi and Peacemaker also arriving winter 2023-2024. So maybe a December, January to February timeline for those two characters. While we do have Ermac and Homelander are targeting for spring 2024, and Takeda Takahashi, aka Kenshi's son, but not really his son in this timeline, is aiming for 2024, which is a surprise because I expected Homelander to be last, or even Peacemaker, to be honest, to be last. Any of those cameos, not Takeda, but that's pretty cool. So we actually do end up getting an actual, at least a timeline or a roadmap for these characters to come out.
So I do think people need to keep in mind that there's a possibility that the second season of characters, or even assist characters, could come from the show Gen V, which is connected to the boys, right? So I don't know if they needed to, and maybe it's timing, right? They might be trying to push Gen V or like the boys and stuff like that. So Homelander coming out at the time may actually re-spark back up. So maybe that's why. But I think Peacemaker coming before him. Peacemaker, in my opinion, is kind of a very lackluster character in me. Like, in my personal opinion, I say that in the sense of like, there's nothing really going on with DC, and Peacemaker was like a good show, but it's not really getting pushed anymore. I don't know if it has.
Season 2 is kind of not going to be around for it won't be around. It won't come out for a while. So
I think that's why it makes sense, right? Why they should just push it the way they're pushing it, get it out of the way, and then focus on what everybody really wants, which is the hype. I do like the way they built it up. I just don't like Ermac being after him. I guess it is, or around the time maybe.
Yeah,
I just don't like. You have a render of Ermac and he's coming out that late. That's weird.
Yeah, I mean Quan Chi. Quan Chi and Ermac, like, both in the game already, kind of set up. Ermac / Jarrett, right? Like, which is kind of weird. Yeah. The timelines are interesting. I'm wondering, what they're proposing there, but I mean, that's what we got right now. It might be subject to change, it might not. But in the meantime, though, we're just gonna have to check out what Combat Pack 1 is gonna have for us, starting this November with Omni-Man.